G'day and welcome to this very, very special Royal Wedding edition of the Destiny Download podcast. We're going to talk about everything that happened. Matt's going to talk about the dress. Sloth is going to critique the hats that women wore, and I'm going to be talking about the ceremony. So if you want to talk Destiny this week, you're probably going to need to find another podcast. So just hang tight. We're going to get through it. It's going to be great. Like, seriously, fuck the royal wedding. Who gives a shit? Oh, man. Anyway, this is how I amuse myself.
I went to the cinemas to watch Deadpool, and I saw an advert for the royal wedding to pay $10 to go into the cinema and watch the royal wedding. And I was like, what has this world come to?
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Really?
You know, the sad thing is that I actually watched it. I watched it under sufferance, spending time with my family, and I did live tweet it, and then I made other people's night, so I'm happy with that. It was fucking painful and shit, and they should never televise anything like that ever again.
The only good thing about it is the copious amounts of memes that have been generated from they've been pretty high value memes that have been generated from the royal wedding. That's probably the only good thing.
Yeah, there was one of Elton John looking particularly fucking unimpressed. And I'll tell you what, man, I didn't realise how much unimpressed Elton John had to give, but it's a lot. It's a trove. It's a deep ocean of unimpressedness. Anyway, how you doing, dudes? What's going on? Matt, welcome back. Glad you're back from your trip.
Do you know what's funny? What starts as like a joke, and we end up spending 2 hours talking about the royal wedding. Funny. Yeah, no, I'm back. I'm still. Oh man, the time difference is not too bad between Netherlands and where do I live? Australia. But dude, for some reason I have been proper dead to the world. Like, I normally get up fairly early, but like Danny's been going to work and it's like, you are like deep sleep still. Like, you don't even stir. I could like bang a fucking pot in the bedroom and you won't even wake up. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still a bit out of whack, and obviously I haven't made any content this week. I've just been grinding Destiny. I've been reading Grimoire or reading lore tabs. I've been trying to catch up, and that's about it. That's my week.
That's it. Slothy, how's your week been? You haven't said anything yet. You've just been sitting there. I think I killed him with God Save the Queen.
Yeah. It's been a pretty busy week with Destiny. It's been one of those weeks where it's been Destiny. The new Destiny release has gotten me back into the game to the point where I want to play other things, but I really don't want to miss out on Destiny stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the eternal quandary, yeah.
And few 9 to 13 odd hour streams this week and all that sort of thing. So I'm pretty fucked, to be perfectly honest with you. But you know what? It is what it is.
I don't think anyone has noticed, buddy, at all. I think you're carrying it well.
Do you know what we could do? We could graph the success of Destiny by like Sloth's tiredness. Because like when it's going good, Sloth's like, yeah, I streamed 45 hours of Destiny and I just can't pull myself away.
I've got it in the main vein.
Well, what did I say last week? Like, I want Destiny to be that like lose your girlfriend type of game again, where you're like, I can't do that right now. I need to finish this raid, and then I need to do this quest, and then I need to do my bounties. And once we've done that, then we can hang out. Yeah, cool.
I want it to be that game that like you start planning your way out of social occasions 3 weeks in advance. Just like, oh, I've got that fucking birthday in 3 weeks. Oh, I better start thinking up an excuse. Like an excuse so good you put the groundwork in a week ahead. Oh, you know, such and such isn't feeling well. I might not be able to make it. Right. Yeah, right. Lying to your friends. That's what Destiny's really all about. But as always, I say it every week. It's been another big week in Destiny news, so I've got a shitload to talk about and get through.
Yep.
And it's good that we've got all three hands back on deck to get through it, because there's plenty of stuff that's coming, plenty of exciting news on the horizon. But yeah, what do you want? You want to dive into it, dudes? You want to get straight into the?
Can I just say, last week was was really cool. I really enjoyed tuning in last week from overseas, and what you guys did with the community sort of feedback, community forum, I guess, open forum. Really nice idea. Well done. It was really nice to watch when I was waiting for like an hour and a half in like not customs, but in check-in, and then I put my phone through the X-ray. So you were the first fucking podcast to go through a customs X-ray machine or whatever it fucking is.
I can just see it going
Fucking
past the
hopeless.
screen, and on the screen there would just be a picture of the emoji shit. Just as it goes through. Yes, this man is watching shit. Good.
Yeah.
That's what it is that it's called. No, thanks, Dad. I really appreciate the feedback. Done you proud. Good job. All right, let's play the music and get into the news. Good job. Click the wrong button. Anyway. There we go. And news again. Good. Right, so jumping straight in from the top. We had the Spire of Stars released this week. And as always, it seems, Clan Redeem were the first to take it out. Now, I want to take a minute just to say serious congratulations to dudes who've now three times in a row managed to pull world's first. Like, that is... You're ascending to the pantheon of guardians. That's pretty fucking solid.
What's their list? What's their list now? So it's Spire of Stars,
Eater of Worlds, and Leviathan.
Okay, so since Leviathan, they've just dominated.
So everything in D2 they've done. Wow. Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
I mean, look, I'm really bad at keeping up with stuff. Like before that, were they like quite a force in sort of just missing out, or is it something they're like, you know what, we want to really take out these world first, and they've just sort of gone for it since Leviathan started? Does anyone
I'm
know?
not entirely sure. I'm not entirely. We need a like a origin story.
I know the Clan Redeem have been around for a fucking dog's age. They've been around since Destiny 1 days and all that sort of thing, and they've just sort of. I think they've probably just sort of had a bit of luck go on their side, because what was the stats for Spire of Stars? About near 600 deaths there or thereabouts and all that sort of thing. Like I actually was able to get it done this week, and I can fully understand someone going in there under level being fucking oh boy.
Because did you know their levels? Because I did watch I watched Datto for a very long time, and I know they were around like high 360s, maybe 370, but there wasn't anyone like
way
pushing
front,
much more than that.
So by comparison to the level of the activity, they'll still be pretty squishy. Like I might give it a go when I'm 385. Anyway,
well, I mean,
I did.
What are you sitting at, Sloth? What did you sit at to go through it?
The highest level gear 371 now. I went in about 367 thereabouts.
Yeah.
News updates
we
to Sloth's
did it-
gear loadout brought to you by Dim. Good job.
But we went there. No, I've got Destiny open at the moment. I went through and got. I did the raid up till the first DPS phase with former guest and friend of the cast, Syntax 7. I don't know, like Tuesday. About Tuesday. Or like a day or two after the release.
Yep.
Because it's been out for a week now.
Yeah, I think it came out right as we recorded last week's episode.
So, like Tuesday this week,
I think
went and did the whole thing, and then jumped in with Syntax 7 on Thursday evening, and jumped in and like right at the end because he needed people a little bit higher light, and we got it done. But yeah, they still hit like a fucking truck. God damn, they hit like a truck.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the activity, man? What is like? I mean, I haven't even touched it. So I don't think Matt has. So give us a brief.
I'm not going to spoil the mechanics for anyone who watches the podcast. Thereabouts, that's just not on as far as I'm concerned. But for me, the new mechanics are like trying to learn Axis Prestige Axis for the first time. Yeah. That everyone's a moving
Everyone's
part.
got a role.
He's moving, everything's rolling,
Yeah,
everything's got to get it done, blah 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 blah. That's what I like in it too.
I know a guy
it
who's
is-
really shit at that sort of stuff.
Does he rhyme with bog lower slave?
yeah, that's him. That's
So
the
it
fucking
was-
guy, man.
It was interesting to say the least. I actually really enjoyed the encounter. We got up to the final stand maybe 3 or 4 times, and
Yeah, that looks hard, man. The final stand looks hard. People are losing on that shit because
we lost on it 4 times. You know, so
So what is that like a kind of final stand damage phase like what Callus has?
Oh, we probably shouldn't say too much in case people want to go and buy it.
Callus,
It's like
Axis.
Callus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very very similar.
I mean, every boss has had a final stand, right? Except for
I don't think Atheon really did.
did Atheon have a final? Didn't he put his hand there?
no, Atheon didn't have a final stand.
He didn't have a final stand.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So,
But it was good nonetheless. Like it was the mechanics are new. The lore implications of the raid are incredible, absolutely incredible.
can we talk about that? Because I haven't seen it.
I think I'm not going to explain the mechanics, but the boss of Spire of Stars, the big bad, like it's not a very long, like it's a raid lair, so it's not very long. But when I first saw it, I was like, holy balls. So Callus has come under direct attack from Valkaor, who is the new leader of the Red Legion.
Yeah.
And I was very interested to see where they'd go, because I thought the Red Legion were dying off. They'd been broken, Gaul's dead, you know, this, that, and the other. But no, apparently they just have a line of succession. They just keep coming, just keep attacking, you know. So
Yeah.
it was very interesting to see from that respect.
So I spend a lot of time reading all the lore tabs, and I have read through all of the new lore tabs for Spire of Stars, and from what I saw, there was nothing sort of new. It was the same theme of Callus requesting essentially Guardians to join the Shadows of Callus. However, the new sort of theme added was Callus speaks about, he's like, I only ever recruited the top shadow from like every species. He's like, there was only ever one standing. And now he starts to refer to Guardians as the Guardian tribe. And he's like, basically, he keeps going on about how we would be the best to help build him his empire, the Red Legion empire, and build back the empire. And he's like, it's actually really interesting. He talks about how the Cabal Empire used to be really open to other cultures and civilizations, and they had all these different weapons and different cultures and different techniques. And something that I've always bring up is very like Genghis Khan sort of style, like this massive sort of rolling army that just, rather than destroying cultures, sort of absorbs them and takes all their best parts and makes their weapons from that. And so a lot of the cards talk about Callus, like saying, like comparing the Red Legion and what Gaul did to it. And he's like, you know, Gaul was a pit fighter, and, you know, you've got these really blunt force weapons now, and all we've got is blasters, and we've got this shitty stuff. And, you know, what happened to all of our technology, all of our culture, all of our different things that we absorbed, and basically goes on to say, like, the Guardian tribe, you will be the best people, because I've seen like how ingenious you are, I've seen how powerful you are. You'll be the best people to rebuild my empire. Like, I don't want you just as a shadow, I want you as like trainers and builders of the next great Red Legion. So it's pretty cool.
So he's in effect looking at us to go and then instruct the Cabal.
Yeah.
So he's not looking to take over us directly, like take over humanity as an empire.
Yeah, he wants us to still join him in that sense. And I guess the previous ones was to join him as a shadow of Callus. And although I think he still wants that, but there's definitely like a training element. Like he wants us to train the next sort of Red Legion, from what I've read.
Do you think it like kind of teasers that maybe we'll end up at some point working with the Cabal. Like, I mean, it doesn't seem like that. Kind of makes it seem within the realm of possibility. And I know that that's long been something people sort of thought about and kind of anticipated it'd be more the Fallen. But I guess it depends what comes in the pyramid-shaped ships, right? Maybe we band together.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
like, Callus has never really done anything bad to us. It was Gaul that led the attack.
To me, man.
Callus robot maybe,
Yeah,
but
true.
like Callus, and I think I actually really like the character of Callus. I think he's a different type of villain, and I think creating good villain, creating villains like that are hard. Rather than just being the big monster that you shoot in the face. Like Callus is a very deep villain, and I would compare him. No spoilers, but he's that Thanos. He's very much like Thanos, with how he views the world, right, and how he like wants to create this universe. So, I like that in a villain where you're not too sure if you should believe them or join them or kill them. And that's a cool sort of question to pose.
Also loves gold.
Well,
so,
I mean.
Yeah. Confirmed.
I'm going to shoot him anyway, but that's beside
Sloth's not here to fuck spiders. I'm going to kill him. He's in my way. I don't like him. I'm going to kill him. Kick him off his big goldfish. Fuck him.
So, Sloth, when you... Oh, so we're going to get into raid spoilers here, but you don't really see... Is it a projection of Callus that you see in the encounter? Or is it the real Callus? You know what I'm talking about?
I may have missed that in the excitement of actually completing the raid lair. I may have missed anything that happened post fight.
No. I'm talking about the very last part where you've got to do the slam dunk.
Oh no, that's not. That's just Callus Bot.
That's Callus Bot. Okay.
That's Callus Bot. Yeah, or one of the 40,000 of them.
Okay.
Yes. That's Callus Bot. That's not. He might be getting power from that, but yeah, from what I can tell, it's Callus Bot.
So
more than anything.
The other thing I would add to the raid lair, right, is so we haven't seen the real Callus yet. Do you think that Leviathan
before he's a fucking scion or something?
Right,
he's Krang,
or like this like tiny sign with this massive deep voice. This like tiny.
Hello, Guardian. This big.
Yeah. Do you think September, like now that we know, right, they've done a cabal again in the raid lair? Do you think September rolls around and Leviathan's retired? Because I do think they need to like.
I hope that they do. I legitimately hope that they do retire. Like it's been fun. It's been great. It's been a lot more fun raiding on PC more often, and all that sort of thing. I don't think I really struggle to go back to gaming with a controller, at least for me. I am getting sick of the fucking flashy casino. I would like to see something else.
I think they're going to have to just for the sake of variety, man. I think they're really going to have to. I don't know. I think we're going to be facing something else. I think there's going to be there has to be another force come into play, right? Like that's just the way I see it. I don't understand how the story could progress without, we've already seen it with Zol and Nokris and in the events of Warmind. Like we're out there tackling other things and the raid lair in, while it's set in Leviathan is sort of separate to that. I would hope that the progression of the story is tied into what happens in the next raid. You know what? Maybe this is the thing where it's like this other force comes into play. We all go, holy shit, and then we have Callus and the Leviathan sort of go, well, we'll team up with you and tackle this threat. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I really do think they're going to have to change it.
I think it's been a good build-up, though. Like, I do like the idea of, you have this raid area that's new, and the raid layers are essentially like storytelling and building Callus like as a villain, and you're getting gear and you're getting lore and you're getting, and I would love to see some more sort of cinematics in the raid, and I would love to see, I don't know how you this was something funny that I watched, right? So I watched Gathalian's upload of them finishing the raid lair, and as soon as they finished it, like, it was yells, it was screams, it was like, because it was like Broman, Gathalion, like, you know, it was like the loudest noises, right? And as soon as you kill him, Callus starts speaking, right? And after they finish yelling, Goth goes, wait, isn't Callus going to say something to us? And they were so elated and so like cheering that they missed what Callus said at the end. And it's like,
oh man,
like,
you better go do it again.
Like, fucking go do it again, yo. I don't know. I think maybe like what would help there would like a little cutscene, like make people pause to pay attention, and you know,
no,
maybe
they can. You know what?
like,
No, they can fucking do it again because it's a great raid lair. It is legitimately the most fun I've had raiding in D2 doing that, and again, like. Destiny is only as good as the people you were playing with. I'm quite lucky to have as many good people to play the game with. But I legitimately enjoyed the on the nose spoiler here. I'm open.
Yeah.
You know, I legitimately enjoyed that. That was fun. That whole mechanic. So yeah. I did. You know what?
Someone's going to put it on YouTube if you miss it anyway. Really, let's be honest. There's going to be a way to catch it.
I'm guessing 30,000 fucking videos on YouTube about it anyway, because that's the state.
But do you know what? Like, sometimes I really struggle to find clip, because sometimes what I like to do, right? Like, what Callus says at the end will make a really good audio piece. But every recording, because if you record it and they're in your Discord, like if I record it on PC, all I get is I don't hear Callus. I get people talking because that's the most immediate reaction after.
That was basically our experience when we ran through the original D2 campaign. Was me and Sloth carrying on, and you going, "Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
Shut the fuck up!" So I can listen to the fucking
mute deafen. Shut the fuck up.
Mute deafen. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that. I think Spire of Stars contributed to Callus as a character, whereas Eater of Worlds, people were like, well, who's Argos and what is this about and where, and, you know.
Yeah, listen, it's sort of it tied back to the original Red Legion. I did not know until you and fucking Beard and a whole bunch of other people in the lore community said, oh yeah, so Gary, old Gary, he Gaul, he removed Callus from power because he didn't like what he did or something, you know? So
okay. Yeah.
Really nailed it there. He didn't thought he was a bit of a shit.
I didn't know, and I still don't know.
Hey, I know just fine.
It's all right, mate.
That's
all
right.
That's all that matters.
No, you're right.
I don't know. Like in hindsight, looking at the raid and the subsequent raid lairs, I wish in a way that they'd telegraphed that it was kind of its own separate story from the get-go, because I think this is just
that would have been good.
I'm only speaking for myself here, but I think it would have driven people would have approached it a different way. Like it would have removed that criticism of like what the fuck's it got to do with the rest of the game? There's this big fish in there, and then you have this sort of separate, incredibly difficult story to unfold, and you approach it from the perspective of, I want to go through and learn more about Callus as a villain, and then, I just think that
I still...
It's good in hindsight, but it's one of those things that you need the benefit of hindsight to really be able to understand the context of everything that's going on in it. I don't know.
I've come to the conclusion that I still would have liked to see Consul, Gaul, and the Red Legion, like a final assault, a final assault on their lair, their place of like the
big ship,
their base, their ship. I would have loved to see the Almighty be the base game raid location, because that was an awesome location.
Has a
I
cool
think it was
name
just
too, man. A cool name.
I just think it was underutilized,
Yeah.
I think,
which is frustrating.
I
But
think
it,
I
you know,
think
it
the
is what it
challenge
is.
is like, you know, should stories continue from, you know, from campaign to raid, and with people, you know, the statistically there's a lot of people that don't complete the raid, and so, you know, should that story be locked behind content that they'll never play, essentially? And you know, Oryx had a workaround, which was like, you killed him here, but you need to go into extreme mode to kill him again. So people still had a sense of satisfaction from that, and they also, you know, they got a cool sword out of it, and they got a little bit more story on Eris Morn, and there were like a lot of collectibles to go out and get as well. So,
You know what? No, speaking of which, as well, now that Warmode's been out and people have gone and gotten the all of the collectibles and all of the goodness.
dude, we
and
need
all
to
that sort
talk
of thing.
about that
Yeah.
stuff as well.
Okay, you know what we need to talk about just quickly?
The big one, the news, but
The
the big
news.
one.
Remember
The
when we
big
did
one
the
that
bloody
I'm-
soundbite 15 fucking minutes ago?
The big one I just want to sort of get people blueballed over, and then we'll leave it for a little bit, is Prince Aldrin's ship.
Oh, stop.
Dude,
Stop.
look.
But now,
I've
ladies
been
and gentlemen,
told
let's
about
get
it.
into the
I
news.
haven't even scanned it yet.
Hang on.
Anyway,
I'm gonna
let's
do the
come
thing
back
again.
to the let's go back to the news.
Let's
'cause
bring it
we-
back.
Right, okay, ready.
Finally, we're back.
Good,
into the
we're back. News. Let's actually do it this time.
We've covered the raid lair first from Redeem. Congratulations. That's where that conversation started.
Good
yes.
go. This podcast will only go for 15 hours at this rate.
Hooray!
All right,
Next.
so huge piece of sort of telegraphing where we're heading. The roadmap that came out on the 16th, which was whatever day that was, Wednesday, I think, our time. A hell of a lot on it, but mainly in the short term, we're looking at faction rallies coming back, Crucible Labs, which I think Lucky and Buttwipe might have a bit of litigation pending on the lab thing. You know, I've been talking
They don't
their
own
people are talking to
labs.
Bungie's people. I hope they don't own labs. They make enough money out of Twitch to be. Jesus.
TM.
Get out of
And
here.
the exotic armor sandbox changes. So, boys, what did you take out of? We'll just do a general discussion of the roadmap, I think, and some of the little points that popped up on it. What do you reckon? What are your thoughts? Crucible Labs. That's probably the first big talking point.
So,
Felt like came out.
Can I like the Crucible Labs? Awesome. That's incredible. Really, really, really awesome. PVE labs. Like, can we have trying to get people who only play PVE into the PvP labs to actually make sure that we don't have PvP breaking PvE again? Do you remember the whole Red Death fiasco?
That's a really good point, right? Like, if they run Crucible Labs, right, obviously what will happen is they'll get a lot of feedback about changes relating to weapons and classes that are specifically related to Crucible, not necessarily PvE. I wonder if this is an indication of having separate changes, because that's a really good point. I sort of didn't think of that.
A lot
Do
of
you
people
think-
glazed over that. It was someone said to me the other day. They asked me on stream. They said, Sloth, PvP. That's all well and good. Like, a lot of people really enjoy PvP. People have built careers off the PvP of Destiny and Destiny 2. However, what about and it was named. It was the Red Death fiasco that broke health regeneration in D1. You know, how are we going to how is that going to be how are Bungie going to make sure that doesn't happen?
Do you think
Because a lot of
it's
people
something?
flat out refused.
Do you
A
think
lot of
it's
people
something?
flat out refused to go into PvP. A lot of people. Sorry,
I
go
think
on.
it's something that could be alleviated by simply having a concurrent, like, strike playlist that people could play through strikes with the same sort of tinkered systems that are in that PvP sandbox. the trial PvP. I mean, I don't know
I mean,
how
that's
else you do it. You can't have access to the entire friggin' game on a different sort of.
No,
You know,
I
that
know,
defeats
I
the
know.
purpose. But if they had a strike playlist that allowed people to get in, tackle PvE content with the same changes that have been applied in Crucible Labs, and you know, like the other thing it's going to do, it's going to make fucking exploits and stuff that are sort of not particularly obvious in PvP, very obvious in PvE. You know, like
Yeah.
you know, glitches,
Yeah, it's an
ammo glitches,
interesting,
things like that. All of that
interesting
sort of stuff
question.
will be found. I think. I mean, we're
It's an
just spitballing here,
interesting.
obviously, but yeah.
I mean, I guess though, I feel that PVE's on the right track for certain. Like a lot of the fun
Yeah,
is already
definitely.
turning, and even the way that they're speaking in the roadmap with, it's things aren't perfect with the grind, and we get we know that we're improving on that, and exotics are fun again. The exotic chase is really good. Like, PVE's on the right track, and I think that PvP's still in a lot of trouble. So maybe it's a response to that, and obviously reflects very well for getting the community involved with helping make PvP changes as well. This sort of goes beyond the summit, and that having Crucible Lab, I think, is like a really big step in
Oh,
in
don't get me
getting
wrong.
feedback.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's huge. It is a huge step, and it's quite good. It's quite a good step in the right direction, which is basically all of Warmind in a nutshell. Is that Warmind is a massive step in the right direction. Congratulations to Bungie and Vicarious Visions for putting all the work and making it as good as what it could have been. However, a lot of people still forget, and a lot of people still don't remember that what happened at the summit was 2 weeks, if that, before the release of Warmind.
Yeah.
And people are expecting this Aces, beautiful, incredible game to come out of, what was it, maybe 10, 12 hours of chatting with the Bungie devs, with like you talking to the people that you spoke to, Matt, and PvP, people speaking to the PvP side, like,
I think the biggest sign that it's an ongoing process is the fact that they've grabbed people like Holtzman and Mercules and things like that, and they're actively finding ways to get them into, effectively Bungie's employ and be able to progress along and like sort of maybe just reality check themselves as they go. I don't really understand what the roles of people who are doing that sort of stuff is. I don't understand, at the coalface, and I'm sure that they're under all kinds of NDAs and they won't be able to talk about it until well after, but to have people like that, it's. I think that. There's so much that they've done just in the last 2 months to telegraph their intent and how seriously they're taking this game. It's big business at the end of the day, and I don't think they're taking it lightly at all. So,
not for the people who are, and I hate to use this term because it fucking pisses me off, but the people who are boots on the ground, your game devs, your creative directors, your very, very lowly devs that will just legitimately do a panel on a fucking wall, one of those, like the artists there. Yeah. All they want to do is make a great game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the fucking Activision CEOs or the Bungie CEOs at the fucking summit. It was the devs. It was the development team there. Yeah. So and this is the thing that really frustrates the piss out of me. I tweeted about it the other day, but people coming in to. People coming, I'm having a fucking rant. What else?
I was like, God. Just let him go. Let him go. Let him go. He ain't hurt nobody.
40 minutes
let
in,
him go. Go on.
Let him go.
Go on. Go on.
So, the thing that really frustrates the hell out of me, and this isn't aimed at anybody in the live chat, YouTube, and Twitter, on Twitter, but the game isn't dead. They want to make the game better. A personal friend of mine came into my channel this week and said, I want to be more positive, but it's really fucking hard. And I said, okay, what is really difficult about being positive about it? And he turned around and he said, Bungie lied to us. Did they? Yes. Do they do people make mistakes? Yes. Was it the dev team that lied to us? or was it a misinformation? Like he named Deej. Deej lied to us. Deej lied to us. No, Deej didn't lie to us. Deej may have gotten the context of the information he was given wrong. Everyone makes mistakes. He didn't go out there and go, I'm going to go out and put this information out there and we're going to make all the money in the world and build a solid gold planet and kill Flash Gordon. Like, no, stop it. That's not what's going to happen. You know, like, just if you are out there and you have a legitimate concern for the state of the game, please pass it on to someone who has a line. So either put it onto the Bungie forums or pass it on to someone who has a line in at Bungie, i.e. you're really Hollywood, like you're really famous Twitch streamers like Mylan Games. But like, do it in a way that isn't just fucking complaining or going onto someone's Twitter post and like when the old matey unlocked the Register's Claymore, dead game, shit game.
Nah, dude, there's
Fuck
so
off.
much of that. It's so hard.
I think collectively we as a community, and people might be offended by this, but I feel collectively as a community we're not very good at giving good feedback. And there's, you know, when you give, I think people need to remove some of the emotion and think about what is making them upset specifically. And what's that?
It's not the emotion. It's not the emotion. Some people legitimately just go into just look at the game and all they do is they say shit like that because it's a running fucking joke and a meme.
All right.
Oh yeah.
People do that because it's not the community people. It's not. I'm gonna pull a number out of my ass here. 70% of the community does not do shit like that. They want what's best for the game, so they are passionate about it. But a lot of the most vocal people about it, guess what? They're not. They played 2 hours of the game when it released on PC, and they've never played Destiny before, and that's where a lot of the fucking problems went wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm calling out people who didn't play Destiny 1. Some of the content creators, because they've got some of the biggest fucking audiences out there, and they didn't give it a chance. Anyway,
it's we're going off the news. Let's get back to the news.
Hang on. Good. I didn't even bother with the splash screen. It's just let's go.
Anyway.
So
yeah, the roadmap is coming. The changes are coming. Just keep your pants on. Enjoy the content for what's there.
What do we?
Okay.
All right, let's dive into the awesomeness of this roadmap. In that they teased a couple of things that are coming, and what do you reckon Solstice of Heroes is? What could that be? Do you got any idea?
Solstice of Heroes.
Is this a new dawning? And as much as I don't really want to say it, but the Festival of the Cost type situation again.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, look. Okay, so when I see what I think about with Solstice of Heroes is like flashbacks to previous armor pieces and like D1 stuff.
That would be good. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really think of anything.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
By the way, I have no idea. I don't know. Heroes implies.
It depends who the heroes are.
You can't get much from 3 words games.
Nah.
What does solstice mean? Is solstice like the aligning of moons and shit?
Yeah, I think so. It's like some kind of equinox or some shit. Some lunar rubbish.
Solstice of Heroes. Now, this was something, I'm not sure if this is something that will happen or not, but I think we spoke about this, Matt, in the past at some point. But what if they use the Solstice of Heroes to, lore-wise, bring back the old raids in an updated Infinite Forest area, so people can play the old raids in the Infinite Forest, because Osiris runs the Infinite Forest.
All right,
Bungie.
all right, Slothy.
Oh,
All right,
sorry, look,
Slothy. You've had your rant,
I mean-
you've had your bit to say about bringing back the old raids to the Infinite Forest. You've reached your quota for the week.
Look. As much as I would love that, logistically, I don't think it would ever happen to support. They
I
can't
would love
even.
that.
They have to rebuild the whole raids in their new system.
Yeah.
They can't even just transfer it. They have to rebuild the whole thing.
Just copy paste. Just copy paste.
You can't copy paste.
Yeah, it's copy.
You can't
Control
copy paste
C,
a full
Control
fucking
V.
raid.
Easy. It's done.
Like just take all of the old engine build and just
Do you know what?
Like,
Do you know that would be the best way to reveal like old raids returning is just Deej tweeting like a Control C GIF and then a Control V GIF into like a Destiny 2 file under raids or something. That'd be really
raids.
fun.
Copying the raids folder from D1 to D2.
Just
Raids
like
file.
copy
'Cause
and
that's
then
how-
drag it over
That's
to
how
D2.
game development works.
Yeah, I mean that's my understanding of it. So anyway, also coming on the 29th, we have a couple of little quality of life improvement sort of things. So escalation protocol fragments will now be 100% drop chance from heroic strikes. So you'll be able to get your hands on a hell of a lot more of them, which consequently will up your, what you can get out of doing escalation protocol or the frequency at which you can do it. So good news. The other one being heroic rewards are able to drop at higher levels. So heroic like strikes, you'll be able to get gear to drop at a frequency of 3 to 5 strikes at about 360. I did a really shocking job of explaining that.
Did you just have a small brain fart?
I may have had an episode. Yeah. So basically what's happening, the gear you get from heroic strikes is going to drop at 360, maybe like every 3rd to 5th strike. Fuck.
Yeah.
You just want me to take over, mate? Do you want me to just take
do it.
over?
Just drive
Okay,
the bus,
right.
man. I'm struggling for life.
All right. So from what they've said
It's all that
here,
royal wedding.
shut the fuck up. So the more that you grind the new heroic strikes, the more gear that you'll be able to get, the more parts that you'll be able to get for other activities is basically what you're going to be able to do. However, and you'll be able to get a chance for higher power gear. I'm a year 1 player. I think we all are.
Up to 360.
Up to 360.
360
Yes.
base.
Guys,
So
please don't
365
be one of those. Please don't be one of those people out there who complain that the game wasn't hard enough and now complain that the game is too hard. I've already gone a rant on this today, so we're going to be moving on.
Yeah, we're gonna move.
So they also got some tech issues and all that sort of thing.
I thought
they're talking about how to smooth over the end game transition once the campaign is over. There's a not so much a soft cap, but your power level is slowing right down. Like, pump the brakes. Holy fuck, there's an anchor out the back of the car. We're not going anywhere. Once you hit 345, it slows down significantly. So they're looking at trying to refine that process by the looks of things, which is quite.
They acknowledge that once you get to 345 and you've done your milestones, there's no really other way of progressing without doing a raid. And I think that's probably the main criticism is if I could grind strikes and know even that like I would get one piece of gear that would be one light level higher, one power gear higher, or maybe 2 or 3. People would do that. You would just keep grinding, right?
Yeah.
And people like doing that. And I think that's what they're trying to introduce with heroics, because they're quite difficult if you're 345 and they're all at 350 and you don't get anything higher, but you can get up to 360 now. So that will really help. And then, to be honest, if you grind that and you're up to 360, you only need 1 week of resets of milestones and you'll be your mid 365 basically. You'll be right up there. Plus your mods anyway. So you can get to 365. You wait for your reset, you get the milestones, and then you'll be floating close to 370, which is what most people are going into with rate of spice, or you're 370 and then you're actually high enough to go back into Callus, the Leviathan or Eater of Worlds, and that really boosts your gear level once you go back into those ones.
Strike. Well, someone in the Darwin's in the chat has said strikes are hard now, and they're supposed to.
Good. Just embrace it.
They're supposed,
because once you're at the end game, they won't.
I did a fucking prestige raid with fucking Kami and another dude, another regular in my community the other day. He goes, Sloth, what modifiers do you want on? Because we were doing the prestige one. I was just like, yeah, okay. You know what I chose? Grenadier, Blackout, Iron, fucking, and Heavyweight. Yeah, it was hard. And Arc Singe. Yeah, it was difficult. It's very difficult. Guess what? I had fun doing it. It's about the people that you play with.
Yeah.
I reckon so.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I mean, you got to look at it from this perspective too. Like, I didn't even get all my fucking milestones done last week. I know that's bad. I know that people will be like, you host a Destiny podcast and you can't even do that. But still, there is a lot of shit that you can be doing to progress your level. Like, a lot. And if you have to wait for maybe a day or 2 days to really start punching into that and cutting into that again by way of milestones, I don't think that's the end of the world, because the converse to this is I watched Keg get on PC for the first time ever, roll a new character with no boosts to light or anything, and he is at 346 or something in 4 days, and he hasn't played it that super aggressively. So if you are bored and you don't feel like there's anything productive you can do, go and roll another character. If you don't already have a full slot, go and just fucking increase the variety of your experience by doing that. I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to...
I think people...
I'm going to roll another Titan.
People forgot about that.
Hang on. Let's unpack that statement a little bit. You're going to roll another Titan.
No,
you're going to make another fucking Alice Cooper knockoff.
Yeah, I made this one what do we call it? What are the people from the Reef called? An Awoken. So he's blue Alice Cooper.
Blue Alice.
He looks like he's drowned or something. He's struggling for oxygen somehow. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I don't know. I might put it to a vote on Twitter. What subclass should I play? I know it's going to be Warlock if I do that. So maybe I'll just brace myself. Anyway, but jump in, find another thing to do. It's not the end of the world. Or concentrate on a bit of PvP and play ranked and try and improve your thing. There's so much shit to do at the moment. It's only going to expand. So let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
At the end of the day, guys, like you've got Bungie can't hold your hand throughout the entire thing to go, okay, now there's this part of the story to do. Now there's this part of the story. Why don't you try Tractor Cannon private matches, Tractor Cannon only?
Well, we still haven't done that, and I'm kind of disappointed.
I know.
I think if we get back on the wagon of the Thursday night shenanigans this week, I think we need to do that. I think that needs to be the thing. Tractor Cannon Fest 2018.
Yeah.
Okay. Like this is the thing. Just find yourself something to do. All right. Endgame progression needs more tiers. Right now, everything gives similar size upgrades with discrete tiers and progression system, blah, 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 blah. Basically is that they're looking to refine Endgame from what I can read here. They being Bungie, has said don't expect anything before September, but just keep an eye out.
Look, I think the overarching statement is like Warmind was a massive improvement on the grind. We know it's not perfect, and we hear all you and all the dot points from what I see are exactly what people had issue with. Heroic strikes. They're hard and they shouldn't be giving you gear that's lower than their light level. Okay, we've fixed that now.
The loot for that it will take a while and all that sort of thing, and the fixes will come, guys. The fixes will come. Trust.
Cool. I think the other big thing coming in the next week is Season 3's first Iron Banner. I think there'll be a lot of people jumping into that with a bit of excitement. I myself am looking forward to jumping into the 6v6. I have missed it. I didn't realise how much it meant to me until I suddenly didn't have it anymore and had too much time to think in PvP games. So I definitely am looking forward to that for that reason.
So Bannerfall as well. So Bannerfall is making its way back into the rotation, which is exciting. That was one of the best trials maps of D1. That was the only time, one of the few times that I actually went fucking flawless. But it was.
Thanks, House.
Yeah, thanks, Sus. It was a it's a very iconic map. So that's quite good. Yeah, sorry, iconic in the in the sense of Destiny. PvP maps. It's like Anomaly. Don't punch the square in the middle, otherwise you'll end up with a war sat on your face. Are you proud of me, Mylan? Are you proud of me? The qualities of rules don't always match the difficulty activity. That's fine. That's okay. So yeah, it's difficult, but just enjoy the difficulty. Yeah, you're not going to get much out of it, but make it fun. Races. Do like clean races or something like that. You know. PvP wise, there are a few changes. I'll let Log because he's a little bit more PvP based than I am.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say read Derek Carroll's words because you don't need us to paraphrase them. It's
really not.
You know, there is a few kind of contentious issues in there that he addresses. You know, why you put up against full stack teams as a solo? Why am I playing people who are of a higher valor rank than me, all that sort of stuff. So get in there and get the answers. I think the biggest part that comes out of it is people asking for a solo queue only playlist. That's just dreaming. It just splits the community up even more. It'll be longer wait times, all that sort of stuff. It's not going to happen.
Well, not even unfortunately.
Dude, PCs, man, matchmaking on PCs tough. Like,
yeah.
It must have been like when I was in Rotterdam, I actually couldn't find. So I tried both European and NA servers when I was in Europe, and I couldn't get a match. I actually had to back out. Yeah. I sat in Crucible to do my milestones for like 15 minutes to get matched, and I just backed out. I was like, I don't know if this is because of where I am or what, but I couldn't actually get a match. So I don't know. Splitting it, anything else would be.
Yeah. But definitely jump in. If you haven't already read the TWAB, jump in and check that out. So that's not for us to paraphrase. It's probably best that you just read it and interpret it your own way. And yes, then the final thing before, there is a bit about the Destiny Companion update, which is, it'll be good to see a few little quality of life things come into that too. Mm-hmm. But really, absolutely. Iron Banner. Matt, what do you think about the Iron Banner gear? Can we talk about that? Can we get into some fashion synopses?
The Titan looks like Shredder from Ninja Turtles, which is amazing. That was my main observation. That's my main fashion observation.
I think there's a bit of a Lord of the Rings vibe going on with the Hunter and the Warlock. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Look at the Hunter. He's got the hood on. Yep. Maybe it's just the green. But he looks like he might be some kind of elvish
green, mate. Yeah. It's the elvish green with the intricate armor. It's definitely a little bit Lord of the Rings, a little bit of Frodo Baggins,
a little bit of Frodo in there, and the Warlock on the end. I think is kind of it reminds me of two things. It reminds me of Sauron, and it reminds me of the helmet from Crota for the Warlock that had that kind of face in it, and the one that had the black face and then the scully thing that went up around it. I don't know. I mean, I kind of dig it.
Do you know what my favorite chess piece is at the moment for the Warlock? I think this is right. Someone told me this, but the Eater of Worlds chess piece, the robe itself is bugged, so it doesn't actually have a robe element, so it's just like a Titan chess piece, and it looks really funny. So I run with that, and like these, I think the Lunification boots are really like tight fitting pants, and you look like a Power Ranger. It's actually really funny. So I put like this bright blue shader on, and you look like a fucking blue Power Ranger.
The Blue Ranger.
The Blue Ranger.
Really.
Red. Okay, red.
Red.
Yeah, it's always the red.
Yeah,
always red. Anyway.
Or the green one. Green one's good too.
Or the black. Or what?
Or the pink, if you like that way.
It looks like there's some
if
pretty
you like that colour.
pretty attractive guns. Just to get off the subject of Power Rangers for a second, um, the guns. I'm happy enough with the guns. I mean, they do look a little bit re-skinny, but these things happen. Do we want to talk about why they keep making ornaments for Iron Banner instead of just making the ornaments new armor pieces? Things
Yeah,
I
to play?
think I think like we spoke about this prior to the start of the cast.
Yeah,
But I think I've sort of come up with a reason on why they have done it the way they've done it. Is to less instead of making a brand new bit of coding and all that sort of thing. I'm guessing. I'm not a game dev. I'm just a pundit.
You're a punnet of strawberries.
Yeah, punnet of bloody chocolate, more like. No, I'm no game dev or anything like that. But I think it's easier to implement
Yeah.
the new armor pieces. So you don't get, it's not RNG to get the new armor pieces. You're sort of picking up what I'm putting down. You play games, you get tokens, you unlock the ornament as you see when you want to get it. And that means you don't have 75,000 bits of fucking armor like Iron Banner armor pieces.
I agree it's more convenient. I think it's more convenient for the player as well, but I don't know. It's funny, like my brain just associates ornaments with lesser or lesser things. Do you know? Like it's, do you know,
question mark?
like
it just doesn't seem as important as an armor piece itself.
An armor piece has greater value than an ornament. But in Iron Banner, the ornaments are essentially the armor pieces. Do you know? So it's funny when I see ornaments, like, oh, they're just ornaments. Actually, no, they're technically the armor pieces, but they're just applied as ornaments. Do you know?
Well, that's the thing. So you like if you've got season 1, week 1 Iron Banner Titan gear, and you really enjoy it, but you really enjoy the season 3 week 1 Titan Iron Banner gear, you don't have to store 2 different sets, and you can mix and match
exactly. It does make it more convenient to the player.
That, and it also does it frees up the vault space issue as well.
Yeah. But the funny thing is they're not. But the funny thing is, like, you know, like ornaments modify the appearance, whereas these are like completely change what the gear looks like. You know.
Well, but you look at it. So again, I can only speak for Titan stuff because I've only got a Titan on PC. I haven't played Iron Banner on Xbox at all, or PlayStation for that matter. But like you've got it's the Titan with the horns. Yeah, it's got all the.
Oh man, it's
what looks to be like Nordic runic type things on the faceplate. It's got horns. Then you activate the ornament, and you go from something that looks something very Nordic to something that looks very Japanese in culture.
Feudal Japanese.
So like that's you know, like it's really on how you want to do. If you want to make a Nordic Japanese samurai and run around punching people in the face with your head, you know, like then you can do that. It's how you perceive yourself in game. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much more to expand.
That's it.
I don't think we need to elaborate on it. That was just a thing that we were talking about before, and I thought we'd share it with everyone. So there you go.
But Iron Banner 6v6, like I said before, like that's coming up. I'm really excited to play it for no other reason outside of the maps. The maps seem more. The maps seem bare with 8 players rather than 12. And I really never thought that I would say that because I've never been one for PvP until I went to PC. But now that I'm not even going to somewhat decent. Now I'm not on the bottom of the table every match. I'm actually enjoying myself in PvP. Like, for fuck's sake, I went into trials without too much complaining yesterday. You know what I mean?
Who'd you take with you?
3 people from Drolf, and then 2 people from Strike Nation. 2 very good friends of mine from Strike Nation. So we got our fucking asses handed to us. We come up against Wreck Nation and I was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah. I think if I mean, we're late in the podcast, so I'm happy enough to talk about this now. We're definitely going to get our mate Sassy on over coming weeks and maybe talk about how I think PvP right now is, there is incentives to jump into it. So if you're not a PvP player, you may well be tempted to be jumping in. And to be jumping in sort of 6 months after everyone else has been playing it for that long, there is things that you are going to need to get through your head to be able to be competitive in any kind of time frame. So I think talking to someone who shits on all of us pretty comprehensively in terms of
He could 1v3 us easily.
He could
Like, not even a
1v3
word
and
of
win us. I think he'd slaughter us. It would never be a contest. But I think we'll get him on, and we'll maybe do a bit of a special episode on how to improve in that respect, because he's sort of carried all three of us at different points. We owe him that at least.
I didn't buy him pizza though, Matthew. But the thing with PvP is like the game as a whole. If you like PvP, you'll probably enjoy solo queuing. But if you play with people and you enjoy those people, you enjoy spending time with those people, guess what? That's where you're going to find your most enjoyment with it.
Yeah.
Trials is very sweaty. Competitive
Yeah,
playlist is very sweaty. Sometimes quick play can be very sweaty. The current meta is bloody Vigilance Wing and Graviton Lance. You know what? Play with something you've never used before. If you've never used the Midnight Coup in PvP, use that. If you've never used what's
Midnight
that fucking
Coup.
pulse rifle? Whoa.
Yeah, we have to do it. Legally obliged to
But
do
like,
that.
yeah, it's in the contract. But use different weapons. Yeah, you may get destroyed. But guess what? Like, this is the thing. Like, a Twitch streamer recently beat Spire of Stars final battle with melee and supers only.
What?
Spire of
Because-
Stars?
Spire of Stars final DPS phase with no guns.
The new raid.
Did not fire a shot. He is him and his clan are very, very good at what they do. Very, very good at what they do.
Are you doing dishes?
No, that's my wife in the kitchen while I'm stretching my.
Like, dude, I mean, maybe the podcast has run long. We've got into Sloth's bloody dishwashing time.
No, but this is the thing, is that like it's all about the people that you play with. This isn't just with PvP and PvE. This just isn't with PvP rather. But if you can find a group of people that you enjoy playing with, then I can guarantee you that you will enjoy playing Destiny a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a friend game. It's the friend game. We bring it back to that every week. But, right, dudes, I think we've covered off on all the pertinent news after struggling and 1,000 tangents and all that sort of stuff. So, is there anything that in
Tangents?
closing
Never.
you want to discuss? Is there anything that you
Well,
want to get off our chest?
So I sort of missed the conversation last week about the story.
Yes.
And I saw people talking about that in chat and Nocris and Zol and blah, 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 blah. So I want to give some comments on it. I haven't played it again. So I would really like to do that. I don't know if I mentioned previously, but I think my main feedback is there probably was a little bit too much jammed into Warmind from characters' point of view with Nokrazol and Anabray and Rasputin. I think they probably could have done something like Nokris and or Zol. I don't agree with most people's opinion that Zol as a worm god shouldn't be that easy to defeat, because in my opinion, Zol is very much like the Traveler, and the Traveler, Zol is an agent of the darkness. The Traveler is agent of the light. Our Traveler
But the darkness doesn't exist, Matthew.
Stop.
But he's trying to trigger me. And if you look at it from that perspective, it's always been who they empower who has been powerful. The Traveler empowered us with the light, made Guardians being the most, formidable force in the universe. And Oryx was the same. He was empowered by the Worm Gods. Remember that the Worm Gods are trapped themselves on the fundament. One of them anyway, couldn't get off. They needed a symbiote to be powerful. So you know, and Zol was also the weakest one. So I think there's a lot of people that I don't know. I don't think the criticism is quite just for we shouldn't have killed Zol so easily. Because Raspian's a powerful dude. And I really enjoyed the Nokris mechanics. I don't know. I don't know why people are so upset by that. I find it really good. And, you know, we didn't really kill him. He came through a goddamn portal from the Netherrealm. Like, he's not dead, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't
and
even
I
think it
there's a
says
greater-
that we killed him in the like. I mean,
I don't
obviously we
know.
defeated him, but I don't think the implication. I never took it that way that we actually killed him.
I don't know. There's a greater conversation there about the relationship between Zol and Nokris, because there's a lore about Nokris giving his heart to Zol and stuff like that, right? So look, I don't have all the answers, but I think the general thing about we shouldn't have killed the worm god and that I don't know. I think that can be quite superficial. I think that guy could have been a little bit superficial from that point of view, and especially like it sort of makes me a little bit angry, like people that have never paid attention to the law like one bit, and all of a sudden they're so enraged by Ware. I'm like, do you know? It's like,
go on,
if
Matt,
anyone
get it
should
off
be
your chest.
no. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I find it hard to be like, how can you be so angry about this when like you've never cared before, like you've never looked at. But I guess that's a lesson learned. Like, there's a difference when even if you don't read the lore, there is a perception of what's powerful. And I think the main thing is like the community had a perception of worm gods being the most fucking powerful dudes out there. And that perception was challenged with killing them as a solo guardian in the campaign. So what can you do about that?
All in all,
I don't know. I thought it was a great idea. I wanted, you know, I think maybe they could have just done one though. I think they could have just done a worm god, or they could have just done Nokris. But they've revealed now what a worm god looks like and how they act and behave you, and we killed one.
Defeated one.
Defeated.
Killed, defeated. I'd probably just go with I'd bloody hope that it's defeated. You know why?
I think it is.
Because I still think I still think that fight was well underdone. Unfortunately, I still think it was well underdone.
Were you with people, Sloth?
Nope.
You were solo. What made you think it was underdone, like from a fight point of view?
Okay, so that last little bit of the campaign was, Anna, we've got to get the Valkyrie overcharged. This is the only thing that will kill the worm god. This is the only thing that will save us from this thing taking over Mars and possibly the rest of the solar system. I killed it with a Darcy.
Okay, so
yeah, it's probably.
I would have.
You think it was too easy?
I think from a story point of view, it would have been, and the mechanics of the fight would have been a lot better that we had this incredibly powerful mini raid boss that was just like some of the bosses. Some of the bosses on EP, like level 6, level 7, are so much more difficult than that fight was, and even at the fight at 360 power, it is just more. The fight deserved more.
Do you think
it deserved more?
Do you
it
think
should.
that if they
I
made
should
it,
not have been able to kill it with a Darcy. I should have been like. Should have been able to do minuscule amounts of damage with my super, because this thing is the agent of the darkness. This is the thing that gave one of the things that gave Oryx and bloody Savathun and the daughters of Oryx and all that sort of thing, their power.
Yeah, I think that's been a common. To be honest, I think that's been a common bit of feedback. Is like people expected your other guns to do very minimal damage and to only use
the Valkyrie.
The Valkyrie.
Yeah.
On the same token, I've seen some people that like We kill the worm god with a stick.
Well, but it's not even that. Like this thing was like we had to nearly like break Rasputin to get hit to get the Valkyrie overpowered. It's not a stick. It is this stupidly powerful weapon, and
I'm
which
on your
then
side
leads
that it was a powerful weapon.
Yeah, which like, and then you look at the final cutscene, not the one that Log did with Beersputin, but like actual Rasputin. You know, like.
So let's say you had to use the Valkyrie.
Like he's the fucking. He is the bee's knees. Like he's like nothing in this system escapes my sight. I am going to protect
equal.
The system. You know what? Yeah, I have no equal. Motherfucker, look down the scope of my Darcy and say that. that's what I'm gathering from that fight. And like, I'm taking the piss a little bit.
Darcy has,
but you know exactly what I mean.
So I think that's pretty legitimate feedback about like the story not really matching. You know, the build up was there. And then I think a lot of people expected, like, all right, now we're going to use the Valkyrie. And how can the Valkyrie be used in different ways to, like, defeat this boss? You know, fight off enemy waves with your normal gun, pick up Valkyrie, do DPS. Fight off waves, do DPS with Valkyrie. You know, like, to do that. I think that's, you know, feedback that can be used.
I can understand that using, like, one of the exotics to take out Nokris, to send him back screaming and writhing into the portal that big ugly mother of dragons came out of. You know, like that's fine. I'm okay with that. But this worm god that has carved holes through the planet, and it's just it just sets a precedent of Rasputin not really being needed, even though the story writes him in as being this all powerful AI.
I see that. I think
that's my only take. That's my only sort of.
So let's see. This is sort of the process I take for like giving feedback. Right? Let's imagine the best case scenario. So let's say that the only way you could kill the worm god was with the Valkyrie. Sweet. Would there be other things that would still disappoint you? Or would you know if they just change that?
Just rephrase that again. Just rephrase that again.
Let's say that you could not kill the worm god with the Darcy, and the only thing that you could kill it with is the Valkyrie. Would there be other suggestions you would make to improve that encounter?
Not particularly, because I haven't seen it, but apparently, like, excuse me, Zol can pick you up and for lack of a better term, consume you. Like he can pick you up and like, you know,
chomp you, really.
chomp you. That's cool. I like that. Like I said, this thing gave the power to bloody Oryx and his you know happy little family. You know, like it should be.
Yeah, look. My understanding of it is, and I think this is the nuts of the issue, is that it just didn't feel like it had the gravity that it deserved. Like, if I think what you're touching on there, Matt, is probably a fair point. If we're risking all this shit to make this weapon, you know, risking Rasputin himself, then it probably should be the only thing that you can hurt Zol with, right? Like. That's what makes it underwhelming. Being able to chip damage him to death with a Darcy.
Power as a god.
Yeah, like this is it. This is the only thing. It was worth risking Rasputin because you can now have this weapon, and it's the only thing that you can kill him with. Right? Okay, fair enough. But when you can chip him to death, with better devils over fucking 15 minutes, it's I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, hopefully, like people can see this as an exercise, right? So like we started this conversation with like, you know, Worm God was underwhelming. Well, like, and after like talking through it 15 minutes, like, oh, what do you mean by underwhelming? Like, what specifically do you made it underwhelming? Okay, there was all this story build up to like building Rasputin's like Valkyrie, and then we never really had to use it. Okay, that's why it felt like underwhelming, and that's why it felt like he wasn't really a worm god, and we could just go there and just destroy him regardless of Rasputin's help. So it sort of undercut the whole premise of the campaign. Now that's something really important. They're like, okay, like that's something that writers and when they're making things like can now consider in future things like, okay, we're going to build up with this massive boss. Like, yeah, we need to make sure that follows through, right?
Yeah, the gravity carries through. Maybe we can do that every few weeks. We'll give ourselves a little exercise of like, okay, well, this is the thing that's copping a bit of shit. How would we, among the three of us, with literally no fucking understanding of game development, go about addressing it?
Well, it's not even game development
Yeah,
per
it's just
se, but
context.
it's like,
It's, all it is context, man.
it's context. Yeah, completely contextual. Now, Derek in the chat has given a very valid point. You know, like, and they've done it before that
Shout
this
out the
enemy
chat.
is so powerful. This enemy is so powerful that you can't do any damage to him unless you go through a certain number of steps to do so. Vosik, the first boss from Wrath of the Machine, you could not do any damage to him until you brought down the Shield of Siva protecting him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unprecedented. It's the same as with Atheon, really. Like, when you think about, you go through time, you know, you get the buff, you come out, you can do heaps more damage to him until it fades, and then you know, it's a cycle. It's, you know, you can chip damage Atheon to death if you if you're good enough. But it's, I think that a mechanic like that would have been really alleviated a lot of the issues with people's.
I think I definitely
appreciation of this.
I better understand your point now, and I think I'd probably see it from a different perspective, which is really good.
Well,
And I'm thinking like, oh, that would be really cool to have an extra mechanic there, and oh man, it'd be really cool if the Valkyrie stayed in him and you like fucking pinataed him and he just became like this porcupine full of like, you just
but you throw Valkyries and then you just like, now then the Rasputin power dies off and you're just like, well, now he looks like a spiky worm. He looks like a spiky snake.
What if we had to throw Valkyries into him until we had a certain number, and then they did a super combine and fucking exploded and blew him into oblivion? I think that would be rad. That's why I'm not in game development.
Look, I enjoyed that conversation. It's a good conversation. And you know what? I think I still think the Worm God like pissed all over Panoptes. I thought that.
Dude, 100%.
You know what? So one of my very good friends said to me yesterday, and he goes, I'm paraphrasing, but the general gist of it was, I enjoyed Panoptes because it wasn't just, you couldn't just take it down with a Darcy. You actually had to go through several steps to take him down. I enjoyed Panoptes. Zol fight was boring. And I can see where he's coming from.
Really?
But lore-wise and content-wise, the Warmind and the Hive have just so much more better for me.
Panoptes, you literally you just picked up an orb.
It was a quick time event boss fight.
It really was, but like I think because you had to go through several steps just to get to that phase, If they improved on that, I say they again. If Bungie improved on that and said, step by step, so you've got to do the DPS phase for Valkaor in the Spire of Stars, Matt. You got this step to do this, to do this, to do this,
that's with
to
6
get
people.
this done.
How do you do it with one person?
Well, I mean, it's easy enough to do with what. Yeah, but like these are I don't know. I'm no game dev. These are the things that we as a community, and instead of just going on silly rants like someone,
like you,
instead of just going on silly rants, but actually coming up with some really solid input and giving it back to them in a way that they can use.
Exactly.
Now that is very difficult because I don't know if they can use any of my ideas. And for fuck's sake, if they're using my ideas, Bungie, please.
Well, I mean, you don't have to give the solution. I think exactly what we did there is you give like a concise, like people identify what they found the issue to be. I think that's the main thing. I don't think people talk about the emotion like, oh, that was underwhelming. Yeah, but why was it underwhelming? What would you pin it down to? And sometimes it's about imagining what the perfect case scenario would be, or what's the one thing you would change, or there's lots of different ways or different questions you can ask yourself to work out what it would be. And that's what we just did here. So that's what I would encourage people to do before they write a post or before they
And-
give feedback is to do those kind of things.
That's also a valid point from Halfback Hats in the chat. Thank you, man. Neither felt powerful because at no point did I feel threatened. I had full access to the power I wanted. I felt too powerful. It's exactly right. You know, like, yeah, we're powerful, but Rasputin is like we are under the protection of this AI, for lack of a better term, God. That may or may not really help us. When the attack of the triangles come, whenever that may be, you know?
Attack of the triangles.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, attack
Sponsored by Doritos.
I do think a legitimate question is about consequence of death and feeling threatened, and I do think that's a legitimate area that needs some work, because when you think about, as Destiny 2 keeps going on, we're just like racking up a kill list of like all the bad shit that we've like knocked out, you know, like Crota, Oryx, Skullus, Axis. You know, like we're getting to the point of like, and I feel like D2 tried to do that, like removing a light and adding some consequence, but I don't feel like they stayed in that area long enough. You know, you got your light back almost immediately in the like halfway, not even halfway to the first mission sort of deal. Do you know, they didn't explore that concept probably long enough. But you know, consequence is a tough one with Destiny, just because of the type of game it is. You know, the main consequence is like blackout, like you die, you have to restart, and you have to invest more time, and that can be really dissatisfying too, because you end up giving up on stuff. Don't know, but I think that's a really good point. Feeling threatened and consequence is like an area I think needs some work.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, look, I think we've talked ourselves to a standstill, gentlemen. That was one for the ages. The Royal
we
Wedding
haven't.
episode.
We could keep talking, but I think that's a good. It's a nice way to put it.
I think we've talked ourselves to a point where we've shut up for long enough for me to try and end this fucking episode. I don't want to do another fucking 2-hour special. We've done it before. We're not going to, we'll try and keep it somewhat concise. But I don't know. Maybe that's something that we'll do. I think, every now and then we'll jump into an issue, or especially with something like Zol and people's interpretation of it. And if it's something that's persistent in the community for long enough, we might do our little bit and have a discussion on it, and just put forth some ideas and spitball. I don't think that's going to do anyone any harm. Beyond that, I'm going to end on a shower thought about, the tower thought, I suppose. Would you play a game that was from the perspective of the Hive, and think about how evil we would be in the context of that? Or from the Fallen, like these souped up dudes that come in and just fucking stomp on your head.
I can't wait for a character creation screen to be race, human, exo, Fallen, awoken.
I would take Fallen. I would take Fallen, and if we end up being a what's the term? Like invited into the inner sanctum, the inner circle of the Cabal. Yeah, the Cabal would be fine too. But we're talking like Destiny fucking 15 down the track, when we're all unified under the Traveler and we're fighting back Zol with, arrows and fucking swords and sticks and shit.
Sounds
like
great.
this
Sign me up. Sounds great.
So, look, I know this was meant to be shower thought to end it, but can I just say something? Because I've been playing too much Escape from Tarkov. Imagine this, Sloth. Imagine if you could spawn in as Fallen as in public events and stuff, and just troll players. Like you would, spawn as a Fallen ally. You get whatever weapon, randomly. You might go in as a drag, or you might spawn in as a captain, and then you can just grief Guardians trying to get about their business.
I'm all about.
Yeah, but
grief.
I mean,
grief is good. That's what I say.
No.
And you're gonna have to make it like Tarkov, like when you kill them, all their shit drops. It just turns into engrams. Everything they've got equipped just goes explodes, and you can run around, pick it all up, and then run away.
Congratulations, Matt. You've just made the worst game in fucking history. Oh my god. Say goodbye, you fucking Muppets. I'm ending this shit right now.
Right, see ya.
Sloth. No, I'm just going to shake his head.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, dubstep music. Make sure you do that and hit that on the YouTube links. If you have any points to note or ideas or calling Log a neckbeard, then make sure you chuck him at him on Twitter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
If you have any sort of anything extra on what we've spoken about today, please make sure you chuck it in as well. He's been Mylan, Log's been Log, I've been Sloth, and I'll catch you guys. We will catch you guys possibly next week, or at the very least Thursday for when we do the Destiny night. Thank you very much for watching.
Righto, stand by. We're going to raid into Old Fat and Saggy, and he's our spirit animal, so just hang around for that. All right, peace.